Hi everyone. I'm so glad you're here for our first ICAT Playdate of the semester. For those of you who are new, ICAT is the Institute for Creativity, Arts, and Technology. We're an investment research institute that sits across all the colleges of Virginia Tech. Right now, I'm walking out front of the home of the ICAT Center and ICAT. ICAT supports collaborative research in this building, as well as the library and the media building, all of which are part of the Creativity and Innovation District here at Virginia Tech. ICAT has been hosting Playdate since 2013, and they're our way for all of you to see the amazing work that our faculty and students do. So let's go inside the Mossad Center and head towards the Playdate.
Well, this is the Cube. It's the flagship studio at ICAT. And an array of what you see around you is 150 speakers. It's one of the only immersive audio environments like it in the world. As we keep moving forward, you'll notice that there's a cyclorama in here. This cyclorama allows you to see 360-degree video around you. It's designed with special holes in it so that you can hear the amazing immersive audio that I just mentioned. Also around us is 24 motion capture cameras. We can track dancers in this space. We can study virtual reality, augmented reality. And the other thing, if you look up, you'll notice that there's 4 stories. So the audio goes all the way up and over top of us. There's a grid that mounts the projectors, and it's basically a giant black box immersive environment. On the way to the Playdate, I thought I would stop by another one of ICAT Studios called the Sandbox. The Sandbox is home to the Center for Human-Computer Interaction. And in here, students from across Virginia Tech study immersive environments and immersive experiences. Things like virtual reality, things like projection mapping, are all studied here in the Sandbox. I'm walking into the learning studio where normally the Playdates would be happening. Over there would be really great donuts and really terrible coffee and a lot of great conversation about what's happening here at Virginia Tech. Unfortunately, this semester we can't be together as a group, so I hope today you'll enjoy our presentation online through Zoom. And if you have any questions about what I'm going to be talking about, which is last semester and the great things that are coming next, please feel free to type in your questions. Well, good morning, everybody. I really want to thank you for joining us this morning. As I mentioned, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the really amazing things that have happened this past year and some opportunities coming up for all of you in this coming year at ICAT. But before I do that, I'd actually like to bring in some of the rest of the ICAT team. So let's bring those in, and I'm going to then take you through and share my screen and show you a little bit about what's going to be happening. So let me do that. So here we are. One of the amazing things that's happened over the past year is that we had the ICAT Creativity and Innovation Day. We had 29 unique projects. We had amazing panelists from all over the country. 1,100 page views on the day as well. And one of the really neat things is the description that everybody did of their projects that we put up online. And I really invite you to take a look at some of those projects that we have on our website. But we also, of course, created a true virtual tour of what was going on here. And we did that both for the Creativity and Innovation Day, but we also did it as part of Open at the Source. And as you can see here, using Mozilla Hubs, last year people were able to walk through and see different exhibits. They were able to see things like Escher in 3D, all sorts of different projects that you can see here. I can walk through the virtual world. And that's also still up on our website. One of the really silver linings, if you will, of this past year is that we have lots of really great projects that you can still visit that are still on our website.
At ICAT this past year, we really focused on and created a set of research themes, engaging communities, creating the future of work, making big discoveries with immersive technologies, bridging physical distance, amplifying the arts, empowering data, designing a more sustainable world, and reimagining education. And within those themes, we're really hoping to have even more projects, both within Virginia Tech and with our partner organizations throughout the country and throughout the world. What I think I didn't have a chance to mention on the opening there is that ICAT, inside ICAT, we have two centers, a Center for Educational Networks and Impacts, and a Center for Human-Computer Interaction, as well as two destination areas, Creativity and Innovation, and Intelligent Infrastructure for Human-Centered Communities. All of those centers and destination areas are going to be hosting a Playdate sometime throughout this semester. So I hope you'll take a look and join them for their Playdates as well. This past year, we gave out $229,000 worth of major seed grants. ICAT funding 138 of that, and another 100 coming from other sources that we were able to bring in. And the projects ranged from everything from creating a new capstone course to actually building furniture through cross-laminated bamboo, using robotic platforms to provide haptic environment. And you can kind of see the AI simulation there on the left-hand side. We had a project called the Peleus Project, which will be performed coming up, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the spring. We have a project that's exploring Chicago voting back in the early 1900s. We had a project that you'll see down there in the lower left called Body Full of Time, which is really combining the visual arts and the performing arts together live. And we were so lucky to actually be able to see that before the March closure of the university. We also have a project about seeing flavors, natural language processing to model and visualize food product descriptions. A way, when we talk about how to empower data, people usually just think of things like data visualization, but here is a way to actually explore data through semantics, through language. And that project has been going on over the past year as well. We have a project looking at basically what the streams and rivers, and here, let me start that going. And hopefully in a second you'll be able to see this. But it was what I learned about the project, and that's the amazing thing about running ICAT, is I get to learn so much from all of the projects that are going on. And what I learned is that we have mussels in all these streams in Southwest Virginia. And this is a project really exploring that and revealing that. And it was done in 360-degree video and actually 360-degree audio as well. And I hope you can see me being able to move back and forth. And if you'd like to see more about that project, again, that's online and in YouTube. We had a project on looking at mobile learning across the lifespan. And finally, a project called Dancing Plants, which was looking at plant growth and plant pathology through imaging the plants as they grow, and actually moving the light that is above the plant so that we can see how they react to the changes in light, and we can see how they react both visually and aurally.
Ready?
Forward there. The other thing, pause that for a second, but we had, when the pandemic hit, one of the areas that I had mentioned just previously is that one of the areas that we're researching is making connections across distance. And at ICAT, we thought, okay, if everybody's stuck in their homes and not able to do the kinds of work that they were before, let's see if we can seed new ways to bridge across physical distance. So we had what we called a rapid response grant. And that sound and video that you just heard is one group looking at how to make connections through music across distance and the incredible challenges therein because of synchronizing audio and video. And so that project is now, the team of students has spent this summer exploring that. I should point out too, that for these summer grants, we only funded students and equipment so that they could spend their summer instead of stuck doing nothing. They could actually have experiential learning throughout the course of the summer. Some of the other projects that we had are the Girls Launch Project, really taking research out to kindergartners. We also had a project making kits across the Commonwealth for folks in K through 12. All of these, again, making connections across distance. We had a virtual sculpture garden that's now live and you can contribute to. We have a project going on right now that's connecting universities across the country to do remote choreographic collaboration and creation. We have a project for remote learning and connecting virtual environments, again, throughout the Commonwealth, as close as VMI and as far away as the National Capital Region. We also have one of the hardest things about connecting online is dealing with three-dimensional objects and how to work with them and critique them and create them and share the visual imagery of three-dimensional objects. And so that was another project.
Okay, so
summer.
Now we should start.
So we also awarded last year a set of major seed grants, and Tom, would you like to briefly talk about those?
Sure, thanks, Ben. So the major seed grants that were awarded for this coming academic year started in July. They range from a project using VR to help train construction workers to avoid injuries, to Penny P's Backyard, which is a video series of a young girl who goes around the area learning about science and the community, as well as a virtual watershed that'll be in the cube to give an immersive experience of the local watershed. And then the VR Viewfinder project is about giving bystanders their own perspective of a VR experience instead of just watching somebody with a set of VR goggles wandering around an empty room. And then finally, a project for building online civility and trying to engage the community.
I should mention that Tom is the Deputy Executive Director here at ICAT and was in charge of we got a large number of submissions for that, and he leads the team of reviewers that does the difficult process of taking all those great ideas and choosing the very best. So what's coming next? I promised you to just briefly show you what happened this past year. I hope you agree there's some really amazing projects going on. So what's coming next? Well, first of all, the ICAT Studios are open. George, did you want to talk briefly about that?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. My name is George Hardebeck. I'm the facilities manager for the Creativity and Innovation District. We have facilities and classrooms and the Moss Arts Center, the Newman Library, and the Media Building. We're happy to report that all of them are open. We are having to vet projects and requests a little bit more closely and make sure they align with current policy. What we're doing to make everything as usable as possible can be found on the ICAT website. There's a COVID-19 information page there that outlines some policies and also some best practices that we've done our research on as far as using things like VR headsets and community groups. So if there's a project you want to do, a class you want to teach, anything you can think of, we'll try our best to support it. My email's here, and you can also find me on the ICAT website under Studios. So please reach out to us.
Great, thanks, George. Tanner, did you want to talk about the team of ICAT folks helping people do research?
Thanks, Ben. I'm Tanner Upthegrove, ICAT's immersive audio specialist. And if you don't know what immersive audio is, I'm here to help you do that. We have several other experts in other domains that we're here to help you facilitate your work in the studios. You saw the different places on Ben's tour. And if you've never used those kind of spaces before, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you out. We're here to make you uh, help your project work in the studios and help you succeed. So reach out to us, just like George. My email's on here, and let us know how we can help you.
Great. Thanks, Tanner. And Dylan, did you want to talk about the ICAT website a little bit?
Sure. Thanks, Ben. I'm Dylan Parker, and I'm the web developer here at ICAT. And during this pandemic, it seems everything has to be online and has to be current and updated. And everything that Ben and George and Tanner have talked about so far today, all that information should be current and reflected on our website. We're going to have a number of live events this semester that you can always get to at icat.vt.edu/live. All our funding information is there and fully updated and available for you. We're making updates to the site to make our projects more easily navigatable and trying to make connections with the issues that we're addressing at ICAT.
Great. Thanks, Dylan. Also, Holly, did you want to talk about the seed grant opportunities that are coming up this year?
Yes, absolutely. Good morning. I'm Holly Williams, and I'm the Assistant Director of Administrative Operations here in ICAT. And we are really excited to continue to support collaborative transdisciplinary research at the university through our seed grant program. So our major seed grants are a yearly call that we will do. That call will come out in November. The proposals will be due February 2021. And then those projects will start next summer in 2021. We'll have more information on that available later this fall. And hopefully you'll be able to check that out and start thinking about a team that you might like to put together. We have also gone live with our call for monthly mini seed grants. Those are up to $3,000, and the deadline is the end of each month. So our first deadline for this year is September 30th. Those projects are a great way to start a research question or develop a prototype. And we have information on how you can apply for those and what those grants look like on the website, as Dylan mentioned, under the funding page. We are also excited to continue to support student research with our student seed grant program. We have tried to align our dates within the semester. So the submissions for this semester will be due September 11th. We will make the announcements on September 18th, and we would look for these projects to be completed by the end of this semester. Again, the full information is on the funding page, and we hope that we will see some really amazing creative proposals from students this semester.
In addition, we were thinking a lot about what we could do to engage the public. Obviously doing a lot of performances and things are difficult. So we came up with the idea for a competition for a projection project that will be projected onto what's called the fly tower of the Moss Art Center. We will be asking for submissions from students led by faculty for this. The deadline will be September 18th, and you'll have a good chunk of the semester to do the video with the live projection happening on November 5th. So we're hoping to get a lot of really interesting video submissions for this project. So again, we're looking for great videos, probably 5 minutes or less, so that we can feature them. They're going to be featured 3 days a week across 3 weeks starting in November. So we'll basically project on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And because they're up at the fly tower, you can see them from all around. So there won't be gatherings right next to the Moss. You can see them from a good distance away from the Alumni Mall. Phyllis, do you want to talk about the Science Festival?
Absolutely. I love talking about the Science Festival. Good morning. It's good to see everybody. I'm Phyllis Newbill. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Coordinator for ICAT, and I also work with CENI, the Center for Educational Networks and Impacts. A big chunk of my job is organizing the Virginia Tech Science Festival, which will be different this year. We're not going to have 5,000 people breathing down each other's necks, learning about science in exciting ways. Instead, we're preserving the two-way communication between scientists and learners by arranging meetups between learner groups and scientists. We'll record those on Zoom, much the way we're doing today, and then bring those back and edit them down to 10-minute videos that will all be unveiled on the festival day, which is November 7th. So right now we're looking for exhibitors. So they won't be traditional exhibitors, but or won't be exhibit in the traditional way. But we're looking for people who are willing to work with learner groups and have that Zoom chat with them and learn about, let them learn what you're doing, and also have that two-way conversation with them, learn from them. Right now, the exhibit application is open. We are starting scheduling already, so get those proposals in as soon as you can. We will stop scheduling at the end of September. So if you'd like to participate, you have to have it in by then, but we'd love to have it sooner than that because the teachers are ready. So let me know if you have any questions. Also, on the YouTube and wherever you're watching this video, there's a link for if you have comments or questions about today's presentation. Please send us a note. We're watching that right now. So if you have questions or comments you'd like to add to the meeting, please submit those. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. And again, one of the nice things is that while we can't gather locally for the Science Festival, as Phyllis said, the fact that it's online enables it to be open to so many more people to see these really great projects. So it's pretty exciting. Finally, I'd like to pass it to Melissa just to talk about the upcoming playdates for the semester.
Sure. Thanks, Ben. My name is Melissa Wires, and I am the fiscal coordinator and admin for ICAT. And one of my roles is to help schedule these lovely play dates that we have coming up every week. Unfortunately, we don't get to have donuts and coffee this time, but maybe you can bring your coffee and your donuts each week to join us for this half hour. We have some exciting things coming up. We have Time Garden, which is it's a choreographic piece kind of for VR spaces and physical spaces, and that will be presented by Zach Dewar and Scotty Hardwick. We have Haptic Cow coming up, which is a VR bovine palpation. Everybody's really excited to see how that one's going to go. On September 18th, it's a CHCI sponsored project, and the title's not up there, but that's actually going to be Ed Gitry, and he will be doing a project about the World War I soldier. We participated a lot during this time about PPE printing for COVID. And so we have a team that's going to present about that. Ben showed you a little snippet of Benthos 360. That's the ecosystem video for the 360 camera. Very exciting there. Phyllis, that you just heard from, will be working. She is a liaison with the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and she'll be presenting in October about our projects with them and kind of that partnership and teaming. And we have many more that aren't listed here for the rest of the semester, but we hope that you'll join us all the way through to December 4th, every Friday. Thanks.
Great, thanks, Melissa. And I'm stopping sharing my screen now because that's really what we wanted to tell you today. It's going to be a really good semester, and some of these projects all of these projects are going to be amazing to hear about throughout the course of the semester. But as Phyllis said, we have a few minutes left, about 7 minutes left, and wanted to see if you guys had any questions for us.
So we've got one question in from Tim Baird. COVID is obviously a challenge, and how can ICAT use that as an opportunity? Ben, I know this one is all you.
Well, yeah, and Tim has certainly heard me talk about this a lot, and all of you have heard that from me today, that there is an opportunity to make connections where there weren't or it was difficult to do before. So we have people showing up to our talks. It was wonderful. As I mentioned, Phyllis hosted the Creativity and Innovation Festival, and we had people literally visiting those panels from all over the world. That would never have happened before. We're having people possibly even attending the ICAT Playdate right now. And I don't just mean older adults as well. I'm talking about K through 12 kids are now able to see a lot of what's going on here at Virginia Tech and learning about what's going on and maybe even how they can be involved in some of the projects that CENI, our Center on Educational Networks and Impacts, can do. So it's really as difficult, horribly difficult as it's been, it is also opening up the world a little bit more and making these connections. And those groups that have been working throughout the summer are really expanding that possibility. Well, I should also, also mention that, during this time, we're beginning to rethink even all the processes of how we do things, of how we create. Must we be together to achieve the kinds of works, the kinds of outputs, the kinds of research that we want to achieve, and what are things that we can connect to at a distance? As many of you know, Virginia Tech and universities across the country, and frankly, companies across the world, are all so separated, even within their company, even within the university. Virginia Tech has many different campuses. And what's nice right now is that we're able to work together across these distances. And for those of you that have been part of meetings before, where maybe there was a group that gathered in Blacksburg working together and there was one person up on the wall on the screen from Hampton Roads, that person really had a hard time interacting. But now they're brought into the conversation and really much more part of the team and sharing what they're working on in a more direct way and a more empathetic way with the rest of the group. As I mentioned, there are many, many challenges, but certainly one of the challenges is that object-based, that haptic, that proprioceptive interaction of touching and feeling objects and sharing that with somebody else. And so, as I mentioned, we even have teams of researchers looking into that. Any other questions that anybody has?
Just a quick.
I'm sorry, Phil. I just wanted to let everybody know that if you weren't able to watch this Playdate live, that it will be recorded and embedded onto our event page, so you can go back later and see it.
Thank you. Phyllis, do you have another question?
Could you also talk about coming into the building? How people, if people want to come in to see the cube or see one of the studios, how should they do that?
If you want to have a tour to actually see what's going on inside, George, do you want to mention, maybe they could contact you? Do you have any thoughts?
Sure, Ben. Yeah. So the Moss Arts Center is open. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening throughout the semester. I'd say that everyone should also check out their virtual homestage series. I watched the first one earlier this week and was really entertained by Bo and Yang. We will have galleries opening at the Moss Arts Center, so there will be something to see. There's a new mural that's absolutely massive going in the lower gallery, and a student curated exhibition of student works going in the upper gallery. If you would like a tour of ICAT spaces, we'll be doing a couple different modalities this semester. We're working on a couple of online modalities to serve bigger groups. And occasionally we will be able to do in-persons, but they are going to be reviewed a little bit more strictly this semester. So I would just say contact me and we'll do everything we can to give you the best experience. Same goes with research. Best way to do it is to contact me directly. There's a form available on the icat.vt.edu/studios page that will collect information. My email is also there. I'm happy to just have a chat. That's how you can get in.
All right, thank you, George. And yes, as George said, we're doing everything we can to engage researchers, students in the best way that we can within the Moss Arts Center and within the other studios within ICAT. I think we have time for one more question, if there is any, Phyllis.
We've achieved dialogue, so thank you, Tim. And I think this is a great note to close on. Tim says that the way that we're working this semester has got him thinking of COVID as a muse.
I like that. That's pretty good. And I certainly think that we've all been trying to think of it that way. It's so hard to look forward and look to innovate and be creative during this time. But I like that, and I like that way of thinking about things. So thanks, Tim Baird, and thanks to all of you for coming to our first Playdate. I hope that you will come to the Playdates throughout the semester. Really enjoy giving you this brief overview of what's coming up. Please feel free to send any questions that you might have to ICAT, and we'll see you throughout the semester. Thank you all.